At first, I was genuinely confused because Black Jobs was trending on Twitter, and I searched it and it was a bunch of people acting as if they didn't understand what Black Jobs were. And they were saying that it was a gaffe because Trump mentioned that immigrants took Black jobs. I didn't understand how that wouldn't be understood. And then I understood why they were pretending that they don't understand. Because Trump pointed out something that we've been talking about for quite some time. You see, at the heart of this immigration problem is the idea that immigrants have always taken low-wage jobs. Now, some people will try to jump to the idea that, oh, you're trying to paint Black people as only being able to do low-wage jobs, which of course is obviously not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is that disproportionately, Black people operate in low-wage jobs, and immigrants tend to take those jobs. And so that actually has an impact on Black wages. Plenty of economists have studied this and proven this. So one of the biggest problems is that they drive down wages in the jobs that Black people have typically occupied, and then they begin shoving Black people out of those jobs. Take into consideration things like construction. Let's go to a few examples. Number one, if you look in any hyper Black neighborhoods, Black areas where there weren't a lot of immigrants, you'll find that Black people did some of these jobs. For example, let's look at something like housekeeping.
This here's the kitchen.
What in the hell?
I guess I got some learning to do.
You sure do.
Housekeeping was predominantly done by Black people. And then once enough immigrants came into this country, immigrants began doing those jobs, and then they didn't want Black people in their homes anymore. Look at things like lawn businesses. The majority of lawn businesses in this country were done by Black people until Hispanics began occupying those jobs. And now at that point, then we're no longer doing those jobs. Construction. After around the 70s and the 80s, those jobs were largely Black. And then Hispanics took those jobs, and then they started doing that. Agricultural work. Agricultural work was a predominant Black job. And then afterwards, immigrants started coming over and Hispanics occupied those jobs. In places in the South where they had slave labor and where they had people in the convict leasing system, the railroads were built by Black people.
Bob.
What?
Don't do that now.
Baby.
Bob, don't do that.
I have to.
Send a wire to the main office and tell them that I said, ow!
So when you go to the South and East, those were built by Black people, right? Chinese built the railroads on the West, right? That connected to those Eastern and Southern trains. And when we had the transcontinental trains, the Black people did those too. So ultimately what you'll find is that whatever the job is that Black people are doing, you'll start to see Hispanics and other immigrants take over those jobs. Now, obviously, in jobs like IT, you'll find that those are going to be disproportionately taken over by Indians. They have entire departments that are literally subsidized by their country. When you look at hair care products, those are done by Koreans. Koreans own the vast majority of that. There's a whole documentary that kind of details how their government helped them take over that job in assistance with our U.S. government, literally shoving Black people out of those spaces. Black people creating specific hair care products are not being able to be distributed because the distribution and the shops themselves are owned by Koreans, and they will intentionally create a fake copy of the version of the product that the Black people were doing. And then once they do that, then they say we no longer can carry your product.
Ow! Ugh, my bones are so brittle. But I always drink plenty of milk.
And that's how they're shoving Black people out of this business, which is 100% Black. The consumers of those hair products are 100% Black, and it's 99% Korean because of these unfair practices. That's a whole nother conversation. The fact of the matter is, Democrats don't want to talk about the impact of immigration on Black Americans.
We'll have to get that pot rack looked at.
Mm-hmm.
She's ready.
It has happened time and time again, from our neighborhoods being taken over, from the idea of our wages being impacted, from the idea of them starting to look towards them as the future of the country and appealing towards them as opposed to us. All of the benefits that immigrants have gotten when they came over here, immediate free cell phones, put up in luxury hotels, all of these stipends, they're literally earning more than poverty-stricken black people. We're doing more for immigrants than we are for the most impoverished black people in this country. So the idea becomes that we look at them almost like they're a replacement class. That's how the Democrats are looking at immigrants, because they realize that they're not able to just completely trick us into continuing to vote for them. I'm not voting in this election. I couldn't possibly vote for Trump. That dude has done enough. We've seen what he's done. But you think I'm going to put voting for Biden on my record? Yeah, probably not. I'm going to sit this one out because I believe that no one's going to buy the cow when the milk is free. And I believe that as it stands right now, the Democrats have always depended on our vote. I don't believe that there has been enough delivered for black Americans. We know what black unemployment is. Every president over like the last 50 years has been talking about the unemployment rate amongst black folks, and they call it the black unemployment rate. Now, when we talk about black jobs that black Americans occupy in order to combat unemployment, right? When we start talking about those, now all of a sudden it's a problem.
I don't think so. Homie, don't play that.
So we can talk about black unemployment, but can't talk about black jobs. Stop it. Y'all are grasping for straws because Biden got washed in that debate. It's not because Trump wasn't lying. That nigga lied the entire debate. But it's about the fact that Biden wasn't cognizant enough to actually push back against those lies. Any intelligent person can see that Donald Trump isn't fit for office. We understand it. The debate was abysmal, and so now we're grasping at straws, trying to find things that we can jump to, because I don't think the average person is aware of all of the things that Trump lied about.
This deep